Hi there. Yeah, my name is Natee. I'm currently a senior art director at Leopold in Toronto. Thanks to Nikki, Jennifer, and Lisa for having me, and you guys as well. So, with no further ado, I would just share my first screen. Um, are you guys seeing it okay? How to land a job in advertising?
All good, Natee.
Okay, okay, okay. So, how to land a job in advertising? I think that's the first part of it, and then and stay there. I think it's equally important, to know how to get into the game and stay within the game. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of an encouragement here. So I consider you guys all like the art students here, who study either like graphic design or currently enrolling or like thinking about going to an advertising program. A lot more fortunate than I am because I had no background in advertising, but that didn't stop me. So just to give you a little bit more background myself, I studied industrial design within a faculty of architecture back in my country, Thailand. And I wasn't, like 2 year or 3 years in. I kind of knew that this probably like not like the industrial design is not my it's not my calling. The way I found out is like I started interning at early on, like at the second year or third year into my program, and at a design shop or at interior design company, architectural company, and it's just like I realized early on like it took so long to get a project done with these like practices, and then like later on, like in I think it's the last like a fourth year to into my program, like it is 5 years program, by the way. Yeah, I started interning at a simple graphic design shop, and I feel like, oh, okay, you can get a lot more done, and I'm kind of more drawn to it. And on top of that, I went to like a library at my school, and I found like a stack of loser archives or like a communication art. So I was just drawn to like this simple visual communication, like uh, simple um, a simple print ad that that can say so much, and not only it's beautiful, it's done really well, but it has a soul, it has a depth into it, like it has a messaging to it. So that's like I kind of found out early on. That's what I wanted to do. So that's like I think that's a big lesson to me. So be open, find out early on what you like to do, and be passionate about it. You might not be in the right program right now, or in the future you might not be in the right program. But try to be open. At the end of the day, it's like design thinking it's all about like solving problems for your clients, try to bring creativity into like different channels. And once you know what you want to do, like be passionate about it, because there will be bad days and there will be good days. So be passionate about it, believe in what you chose to do, and then it will carry you on. And next thing is I consider myself very fortunate to be able to do what I love for a living. Not a lot of people have that kind of privilege. So as a little bit of Bible quote here, you know because so I saw that there's nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work, because that is their lot, for who can bring them to see what will happen after them. This is from the book of Ecclesiastes. uh it leads to a story, like a little bit of background and story of my granddad. My granddad is a businessman. He's an immigrant from China to Thailand. And like when I grew up, I would see him when he was still alive. I would see him waking up at around 5:30 to 6 a.m. and doing this like Chinese calligraphy. It's really beautiful. And like he was doing that like throughout the days of his life, ever since I knew him until like until he had no strength to do it in his late 90s, and then he passed away. So I consider myself really lucky. Like, I kind of like I'm able to like do what I love for a living, like my real job for a living. So I consider like that's very fortunate. That's a privilege. And so once I kind of knew this is like my just like from now on I'm gonna just talking about like my early work as a student, and then how I get a job, how I got a job in Thailand, and how I got a job in Canada. So once I knew that I want to do uh, advertising, like I kind of like um, you know try to steer my path, like at school a little bit. So um, in order to graduate from my school, I have to do a thesis. So I kind of like asked my professor if I can do like graphic design or like print ads or like a full integrated advertising campaign to graduate. So that's like kind of a first step for me to like to build my portfolio together, to like build like kind of work examples of what I can do in order to get a job as a graphic designer or as an editor to an advertising agency. So like this is like one of the first pieces that I did. It's for Processes Foundation in Thailand. So like they came up with a program called the New Walk Project. So what it is, like they ask people to donate recycle aluminum from from soda cans, and then like they use that material to make prosthetic legs. So because because these like material is like strong and lightweighted, so I like, I just came up with a simple visual that tells like the story. And if you can read like the 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 copy done as like the new WA project, like help someone to get to land on that feet again by donating your recycle aluminum lid from your soda can. and and later on I try to enroll into some advertising courses that are free in Thailand, but you need to like submit your work. It's kind of like it's a competition that you need to submit your work, and like they give you a brief, and then like they will select like probably 10 other students or 10 copywriter students to enroll in the program, and then you get to learn uh, from people who are already in the industry, like a creative director or like ad directors or copywriters in ad agency, in real ad agency. So for this brief, like it's for Red Bull, they just want us to do like one simple print ad. So what I did is like even though I don't drink, I observe people, and I look at what other Red Bull advertising, what's been done before. So they all talk about like it gives you energy to do like crazy export, that kind of thing, BMX, like um snowboarding, that kind of thing. But like it's a culture in Thailand that you mix Red Bull as a mixer with like uh, with alcoholic drinks when you go to popping, that kind of thing. So I think that might be a unique way of doing a print ad for Red Bull. So that's why I came up with this idea, and yeah, and then I got in. So like I have to hassle through a lot of things to get into advertising. And then later on when I got a job in an ad agency, so like this is how like advertising in Thailand kind of looks like. It's a lot more open. This is like a print ad that I did for a Dalcolax laxative. So simple print ad that tells like the benefit of the laxative pill. um, yeah. And here's another one. um, This is a poster or newspaper ad that I did for a phone bank service for a startup bank back in my country. So the clients are super smart. Like they know they don't have a lot of budget to run the ads so many times. So uh, they they are open to us to open for us to do something that's a little bit more striking and draw attention. So like you run it once or twice and you people remember it. So my first gig in Canada, um, I I like there's a like there was a period of time that I took like a 6 months break between jobs in Thailand, and I came to Canada to study ESL, English as a second language. And I'm planning to like if if one thing leads to another, maybe I can I will go to places like OCAD or Emily Carr in Vancouver to do my master's degree here. But I was really fortunate because my the school that I went to back then, it's a school next door to Rethink in Vancouver, that old office, by the way. And I got a chance to meet with Ian Grace. I sent like a couple of work examples. So actually like uh, the work that I shown you in the previous pages, I just sent like two or three examples. And long story short, like he decided to take me in as an intern. And during like the 3 months internship at Rethink, I was a part of this Playland campaign. Just a simple poster newspaper ads again for this amusement park in Vancouver. Like the idea is super simple. It's very visual. The seats from all of these rides were attached to the things that that it will be super extreme and exciting for you to get on. So it's a four pieces series poster campaign. So that's like a big lesson learned for me. So I think in order for you to to thrive, to uh, to make the most of the opportunity from your internship, is to go hard at it. I knew that this is a dream assignment, and that's what Ian told me when he gave me the brief. It's a dream assignment. It's like super visual. It's done like really well before in award shows. So the campaign from previous years, I've seen them before in award annual. So I kind of like pour my energy when I was at doing an internship at Rethink at the time. So I remember like came up with I met with Ian, the creative director at the time on this project. He's the founder of Rethink too. So I met up with him I met with him a few times to show him ideas, and like you said, like don't stop, keep going. The bar is high, and I think we went through about I went through about 50 to 70 ideas until we landed on like that idea with his help. So big lesson learned. I didn't know at the time how many teams are working on it. I just keep focusing on the opportunities on my plate, and then try to make the most out of it. And then that opens the opens a big door for me, because uh, that was like then in 2005. And then um, I went back to Thailand to work for 3 years at an agency in Bangkok called BPDO Bangkok, and then I came back here. So I sort of kept in touch with Ian and Rethink, and then like eventually the doors opens again. He hired me back in 2008 as an art director, a junior art director in Canada. So learn by the opportunity and make the most out of it. So that's one thing. And then like there was like and 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 there was this like there are opportunities like this in the ad agency world. Sometimes like you have to compete to do good work. For example, I will show a couple examples of the thing that's called an open brief. It's kind of like, sometimes in an ad agency that like, there are like there are briefs that, not very that, you sort of knew that, like, you have to get it done. And there are briefs, like there are assignments that, uh it is like there are an opportunity to do great work. And more often than not, like those kind of briefs, like, sometimes like the agency will give it to more teams than just one. So like you kind of like, and then like the creative directors, or they will like the creators will pick like the best ideas, and then like present to clients. And like this Land Rover campaign is one of them. So it's an assignment from the global account, like the global team. Like they want to do a brand campaign, just simple print ad for Land Rover. So me and my partner at the time, his name is Stephen Reeds, a really talented copywriter. We, like, we look at all like the ads that's been done before, that were done before for Land Rover. Like a lot of them just show like vehicles, like people, like, show people in remote areas and stuff. Like, so we kind of know if we want to stand out, we have to do something different. So we came up with this simple insight that, when you've been away for so long, for example, so like if I travel to Asia, and then I came back to Canada, and then like you kind of have like that feeling that, like everything is new again. You have to relearn, like, to get used to like the environment again. What if we like push that, like, simple insight, like, to be an idea, to make it simple, and like to an extreme case, because Land Rover, like, is for those, like, hardcore travelers that, like they drive the vehicle to go like to remote areas for months and then come back home. So what if you have to, like, get used to like doing, like, using this mundane object again, for example, a toaster. And then my partner, once we landed the idea, like we kind of like, explore with the layouts a little bit. And we think like the best thing to do is, like, just to show the like that those objects straight on. And we and the copywriter uh, wrote the copy in such a way that, like you explain this, like, day-to-day object that normal people would know how to use it. But like, we wrote it in such a way that, people don't know how to use it, like, and see it for the first time. For example, the toaster, this metal box assists in breaking your fast two slices of bread, fit the slots, depress the side lever to resist them for warming and crisping. When the fragrance pleases, a meal is ready. And then like we kind of end up like we kind of sign off the copy with welcome back throughout the campaign, just to, like, let people know that, like this, like we are talking to people that been away from civilization for so long, by Land Rover. And uh, these are the other four pieces that, that we are done from the same campaign. These are shot by a photographer friend of mine. His name is Arik Gite, a very talented, very humble, very collaborative photographer. So I remember, like, we prepped, we went into shoot just for executions. And then, like, at the set, like I saw this salt and pepper shaker. So I was like, why not? Like, you know, we shot them as well. And then like we came back to the office, and again, I asked my copywriter to, like, why don't you write like the copy for this execution as well. So that's one. And that's another example of a sort of like, an open opportunity that, we have to compete with other people within the agency to get it done. This thing is it's for it's a project we did for I this project I did at Leobernet. This is the agency that I'm working with right now. It's for Museum of Contemporary Art. You guys probably seen this. I'm gonna play the video here. Hold on, I need to switch my. Here you go. Sorry. Yeah. So that's uh, that's the project that we did for the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Thinking Emoji. So yeah, it drew a lot of attention, and it was really successful for the clients. So the lesson learned here is that like where when there are opportunities, I try to make time for it to participate. Some people, some creative teams, they might see this as, it's an extra work, and you don't know for sure if like your idea is going to get through and you will be able to produce it. But I kind of take a different approach to it every single time. I feel like like it's an opportunity to learn, and even though like the ratio of getting getting your ideas through might be like 2 times out of 10, but it's always fun to like participate and uh like see your ideas, uh uh like kind of compare ideas against like other people ideas. It's so much more fun that way. Think about it and you see how other teams like approach like the same assignment, like the same brief, how they solve the problems. It's always like, to me, there's no lose in that. Like you just, you either like get to do it, or like you get an opportunity to learn and to learn from other team as well. So another thing is about like ad agency nowadays. Once you like, you decide to be an either an ad director or a copywriter, creative, or like designer in ad agency. um the world's like changing at a very rapid pace right now. Like anything can be an idea. Like, you can express your ideas in many forms. It's not restricted to just like print ad, radio spot, banner ads, and everything can, just about anything can be an idea now. Anything that can get on the news and make the brand famous and help clients solve their problems. So you just need to be like, be alert and keep evolving and like be proactive. Sometimes like um I heard a quote somewhere, like I think it's a Selmo Ramos, like from Gut, and it's a really great agency. down in South America. He said, like, they're a great agency, like, uh, they bring uh, what's right in front of clients. So basically, they just don't do what the clients ask them to do. It's like they look at the client's problem and then, they bring sort of like, something that, that might surprises them, or, might be a better solution, something that beyond what the clients think that will solve their problem. So I'm just going to give you some examples of like, what we do at Leo Burnett or like at my previous agency. Oh, okay. This is another campaign that I did with my copywriter, my ex-copywriter. His name is Derek Moore. We have like this good friend of ours. Like his name is Ari Gide, like the guy who shot the Land Rover campaign that you've seen before in the previous page. So at the time he was still like new to the industry. Like he was a assistant photographer assistant to one of the photographers at Wayside Studio, a really famous studio in Toronto. So he just launched his career, just like started to do his own thing. So he came to us and asked if we can help him with like just designing uh like a postcard that as an editor I always like get that at the beginning of the year, at the new year, during the holiday seasons, when uh photographers or like illustrators will send me like uh little like booklets or like holiday cards, and um like to build relationship with an agency's editors. But like those things, like because like we get a lot of that, like sometimes it just went straight to a recycle bin, unfortunately, like uh but we since like when he's our friend, and like we want to help him launch his career, and like we kind of knew that might not be as successful. So we try to think of something that will help him, like get noticed from my other their peers. So we did this campaign together. It's called Collab with Arc. um, I'm just gonna show the video again. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so like the campaign did really well, and like we're super happy for our friend Art. I think he told me that he was able to like increase his fees like significantly, double his fee, and like he like through this campaign he was invited to speak with like uh in a photographer forum or something, like talk with like like be a speaker with his peers and stuff. So it brings a lot of attention to him and help him launch his career. And uh this one is another example. We call it the motorcycle life link. So this is another example of like, like the agency like try to like Leo Burnett, like the agency that I'm working with right now. We're trying to be proactive and like show our capability, like, to do something more. And that will help like the clients get attention and help solve their business problem. So the ideas is really simple. Like uh, uh, we got a brief like to do like a print ad, a magazine ad to advertise their like motorcycle insurance program. So which we did, and like we try to be proactive and like try to show them what we can do inside of that. So we came up with this simple idea that what about we can help like save like lives of these motorcyclists, the riders, especially like the clients are based in the U.S. in LA, like in sorry in Northern California, which includes like uh, a lot of like remote places like the desert in Arizona, that kind of thing. Like if you have an accident, then uh, people won't know what's going on with you, and like the help might come too late. So we came up with this like simple product idea using the technology that's already existed in the cell phone. Like the gyroscope sensor, like the thing that like in a cell phone, like like it kind of knows your movement, right? Like when you flip the phone, like the screen kind of rotates and that kind of thing. So because of that sensor, so we're thinking like, what if we talk to our tech lead, at the director of technology at LeoBurnet, if we can embed that chip within, like if it's small enough for us to embed in this little device that we can attach to a motorcycle's handle. And like we did some mock-up, like our tech lead, uh, Felix, Mr. Felix at Leovernet. Yeah, he helped us print out like a simple 2D mock-up, and we did a taste here, which I can show it to you. Yeah, so that's like a rough 3D mock-up. It's not like the final look of the thing, but like it shows that the mechanic, like the technology works for what we are aiming to do. So what it does is like if the sensor can detect if like the motorcycle is falling and it flips over, and then it will send a text to your chosen contact list, people from your chosen contact list, to let them know that you might be in danger somewhere. And then you have a choice of like if you're okay, you have a choice of like turning it off and let them know that you're okay. But if they haven't heard, if they don't hear from you, then uh like you can set the system to just call like an ambulance right away, or like let your friends know that like you need help right away. So like it's kind of like an idea that we think it's not expensive to execute, because you use like a technologies already existed, and it could help save life. And comparing to like doing a print ad, which is there's nothing wrong with it, but if this thing goes out into the market, it might bring more attention to clients, that like AAA has like in a motorcycle insurance program, and then they came up with this thing that helps save lives, save like a motorcyclist life that who might be in danger. So it's a win-win. And yeah, like just want to give you an idea that that's the world we are living in right now. And like ad agencies now are trying to catch up with all these technologies. Like for example, at Leo Burnett, we have like we call a maker lab, a maker's lab. You can do all sorts of things in there. Like we have a 3D printer. We have like some really capable people like Mr. Felix that can help us. We can like our job is to come up with ideas, try to find like a powerful, simple insight, and like some kind of solution. And you talk with like the tech teams, like designers, like digital designers, and we kind of brainstorm together. So it's like the team is getting bigger now, and to bring more possibilities to the solutions to the problem. And but like it doesn't matter how technology advances. And like the like to me, I think like ideas are like, oh, ideas are always king. Like keep it simple. And like the next one is a sample of like a uh, simple idea that resonates with human insight will still win always. It will still do well. And it's gonna play the video like this thing, this project I did recently for McDonald, McCafe. Oh jeez, sorry. Yeah, so just an idea that try to keep it simple. Either it's a kind of like an advanced technology based type idea, or like simple print ad, simple poster. Ideas are always like at the center of everything we do. If you're into coming to advertising, so a little bit of like some tips to finding a job and build a relationship and try to get yourself like into the door. So first of all, I think like you need to do your homework. You know, like look at the award annuals, like try to like find out who did the kind of work that you want to do. Uh, like nowadays, I think like the names on the door, it's not as important of like who's actually working for the agency that you want to go to. Yeah, trying to find out like who those people are. Try to build relationship with them. Like it could be just like what I did when I was at when I got a chance at Rethink. Like I I came here as a student, didn't know anyone, but what what the worst thing could happen, right? It's just like, send an email out and ask if they are interested to meet. I think from my experience, like there are a lot of nice people in the industry, and like they're willing to help out. So just like, but be nice, like send maybe send like introductory email about yourself, like just like make it easy for them, like doesn't that something that doesn't take a lot of time from them because people are busy in agency. Attach a couple of like example of works, like your strongest work, and ask if they want to meet, and like be patient. Sometimes like it could take like a couple of weeks or a couple of months for them to like find a time. uh Once you like you get to meet them, like when they have feedback on you, I always find like it's it's impressive when like you give feedback to like students, and like they work on your feedback, and they came back with like with like revisions or like some improvement. So those things like I believe goes a long way. Like I just late last year, I think there was a graphic designer who wanted to like to be an art director, and like he sent me some works, and I was looking at it. He's super polite guy, and like so I like we met, and like I gave him some comments, and then like found like like it took him a couple of months, and then came back with like a revised portfolio. And I told him like, yeah, it seems like you're more into like graphic design and stuff. And yeah, he said yeah, and like like while he was working on like on his book, like he found out that out too. Like so I hooked him up with like one of the design directors at the Obernet. Like we have like one of the strongest like design department in Canada, not like maybe in the world even. So like I hook him up with one of the design directors here. And yeah, and then yeah, that sort of thing, like try to reach out to people, and then eventually he got a job that he he he's happy with, and doing something that he knows is calling. um, Next one. So another thing is that yeah, it's kind of like what I mentioned already in the previous slide. So I believe there's no substitute for hard work. Advertising to me is hard work. Like in order to get like one idea through and like execute it and like get it out into the real world, like it's a long, sometimes a long process, and you need to like be like mentally prepared. And it's hard work. Like uh the ratio of like getting like an idea out there is like it's pretty low, maybe 30 to 1. Like you present a lot of ideas to your internal teams, and then like to clients, and like and then like you have to carry like talk to directors, and like photographer, or like whoever's going to help you execute the ideas. Like it's a big team here. So saying that, like so always remember to be nice, because there's a lot of people that will be involved in your project. And yeah, everyone's working hard towards the same goal. It's like there's always a plus to always be nice. That will help you stay in the game. um yeah, and it's like I like this quote from C.S. Lewis. Sorry, that's a typo there. It's his name is C.S. Lewis. He's an author, the writer of the Book of Narnia. In case you don't know. So humility is it's in thinking less of yourself. It's think of yourself less. So like like advertising nowadays, like you work with a big team environment. There's a lot of moving parts involved. Like we work with producers, like clients, and like your CD, like your people in your team. So uh even though you're talented, and some like you work hard, and you're well prepared, but like everyone else in the team is doing the same thing as well. So yeah, think of yourself, let's think of the team more. I think that will help you thrive, and like help you your days like go by smoothly in the ad world. So last one I want to leave with you guys, like i I don't believe in luck, actually. I think luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So try to like use your time wisely. Try to work on your book. You know when opportunity, your opportunity shows itself up, like you're ready to grab it. Yeah. So thank you. I think that's Q&A time now.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Natee. That was really great. Question for you. We have a few,
Right.
but firstly, you seem to jump on opportunities. Any advice for anyone who is shy at getting out there?
Yeah, good question, actually. I'm a shy person too, super introvert, and you know, being being an immigrant doesn't help with that either. So, um, I think that there's a lot of successful people. To me, there's a lot of successful people in advertising that are introvert, that are shy too. So that shouldn't be an obstacle for you, as long when I look at when I look, and I think a lot of people who will be hiring you, when they look at you, they judge you from your work. Yeah, so just do your homework, try to have your thinking, like I'm not sure, like you asked about presentation or other things, but when you present your work, try to they just want to know your thinking process. So if you as long as you're able to tell about your thinking, to explain your thinking, I think that should be fine. Like you don't need to I don't think you need to be like super outgoing or like out there type of person to get attention. People focus on your work. Yeah.
About creative confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Having a mentor so early on in your career, was it critical to your success?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Having a mentor early on in your career, was it critical to your success?
uh it it really helps, but uh but don't let the fact that you don't have any mentors now prevent you from like getting your book ready, or like doing research, or like trying to get yourself ready for like your ad school, or like or job hunting. Yeah, it's kind of like go hands in hand, they kind of go hand in hand. Like the more you work on your book, and I think the more like professionals like in the industry will pay attention to you, know that you're taking things seriously, that kind of thing. And then once the opportunity presents itself, maybe you'll come like to the top of their minds. Yeah.
And do your homework as well. I mean, go through annuals for inspiration, also get names and find out what agencies are doing the work that you want to do. I would think is a great way to start early on, just to inspire to be that next best. Where do you get your inspiration from?
uh like a lot of time it's just like observing people in their real life. Like at Leobernet, like we believe in like a thing that's called humankind. Like it's kind of like human truth. Like I think all the best ideas are like based on like a simple insight, like something that like basic human thing that people can relate to. For example, that the human clock idea that I just showed for McDonald's. It's just like something is so truthful, like different professions, like people from different walks of life, like even like especially nowadays, like like they start their days at different time. I think that fits well with like what McCafe like offer has to offer. It's the only one like not saying anything bad about Starbucks, but like you you cannot get like a coffee at 2 a.m. at Starbucks, right? But at McCafe you can. So like that's something that like the clients have like a unique thing to offer to people that resonates with their like their people in the real life, and then you kind of blow it up in an interesting way. That's always like the thing
You got to
about our industry.
think a little bit differently and get out there in
Mhm.
do you work with a partner exclusively, or do you kind of work with different copywriters?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. So, um, I have a partner, like like my kind of like my primary partner, but like when he's not available, maybe he goes on vacation sometimes. Like they assign me to work on like a particular project with other partner. So, it helps to have a partner that you work well with, like kind of like get into a rhythm, like jamming and stuff, and they kind of you kind of know uh like each other like style of working like uh, and that helps make it easier, but try to be open-minded and be easy and kind of easy person to work with. Every person has like different kind of strength. So a tip for you here, if you have a friend that you get along well, I mean like at work, like doing like building portfolio together, try to stick together and like try to help each other out. Like if you're a copywriter, an editor that can make your book like look more finished, look more pristine, and like help your ideas come to life in the best possible way. Same thing, like with the art directors, like sometimes, like for example, I wouldn't be able to write like a beautiful copy for that Land Rover campaign that I did without a help from my copywriter. Same thing, trying to find a copywriter that help elevate your ideas. Like, it's all about getting presenting your best self out there.
Okay, I think that just about wraps up our time. We hope you enjoyed this session. It was really informative. Um, Again, as you start your school application process or looking to explore where your talents could fit in the creative industry, be sure to visit creativefutures.ca. We have another session scheduled for 3 p.m., our last session of the week, and it's on portfolio advice. And you can still register at creativefutures.ca, click on speaker series. And Natee, thank you so much for sharing your experience in the advertising industry and how you got into it.
My pleasure. Yep. Good luck to you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.